Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, round 24, the final Sunday roast of the home and away season. Joining me, Dobe. Dobe, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, Jev. It has been a little bit of a lacklustre round. Not too much to play for. There's a lot of dead rubbers. There's an unbelievable upset that we'll get into that we can't believe that it's happened. But apart from that, it's been pretty straight shooting. We're currently, as we're recording this, it's halftime of the Blues GWS game. But we will finish off after the game, so we will still get that game in. Jev, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we're gonna pump this pod out to go back and watch the second half of that game. Then we'll come back on and finish that one off. It's a bloody good game so far. It's exciting. I really want GWS to win. I'll be so happy for them if they win, make finals. So that means it's a Carlton Bullet Swans first final if GWS do win, which is just crazy. So we'll get into the first game of the weekend. Friday night, Essendon embarrassed themselves again and lose to Carlton by 70 points on the MCG dust. This was over at quarter time. Geez, Essendon lost by a combined total of like 190 points the last 2 weeks. This was embarrassing. Dust. What do you
They're an
think?
embarrassing side, Jev, and the second half of the year has shown that they have fallen off a cliff. Jordan Dobe kicked the first, Jev, and then it was just goal after that. 8 goals to 2 points in the first quarter, and you could already just see the place was completely dull. Pies fans were going nuts. Now, this man, Jev, has to be in the side coming into finals. Jack Ginnivan, he was in and out of the side for a lot of the year. Suspension, a little bit of injury. Back to the VFL, did his time, 17 disposals, 3 goals. He's the spark plug for the Collingwood Magpies, and you can see the crowd love him. He gets them up and about, and they just play differently. He isn't, I don't know how to say it. He's not like this super talented kid. Doesn't have all the attributes. Like, he's not super fast. He won't sit on your head and take hangers, but he's just a good footballer. He makes really good decisions. He gets to really good spots, and he gets really dangerous. And he gets people so nervous. Like, when he gets it, his head-high tackle that he got at Mason Redmond almost took his head off. I think it was Mason Redmond on Anzac Day that year as well.
Yeah.
But definitely didn't lean with his head. He just leant with his whole body. It was definitely a high free kick, but he milks it. He's very smart. He knows what he does well. He's got thick skin. And Jev, he's an absolute spark plug for him. And I think he's a big part of their finals campaign going forward.
He's a very, very good small forward. This might be, I've only just thought of this comparison, but like, he's not the most talented footballer, but what he does as a small forward reminds me a bit of Luke Bruce does. Like, just the dead set finishing around goal, the dead-eye dick, and the inside forward 50 presence. Yes, Luke Bruce has won 4 premierships, kicked 500 goals and all this, but at the start of his career, like, he would have looked similar to what Jack Ginnivan looks right now. Very good around goal. He was the reason it was over at quarter time. 2 goals, 10 touches. Yeah, good on him.
It was, as I said, Jev, there wasn't too much. Like, when the goals were coming, they were humming. So you had Mychek, the elite medium, kick 3. Jamie Elliott got on the scoreboard early. Then they tactical subbed him off. It's just, I don't know what they're going to do with selection, like with people coming back in. Like, just aware of minutes. Like, everyone's really seems to be really high on, like, when Mason Cox's been coming back and he's actually competing because he knows this might be his last shot to try and win a flag actually in this side. Scott Pendlebury was running on top of water for a while there. But yeah, it's like, I don't know what they're going to do with the Darcy Cameron, like, in the ruck, how they're going to change up those minutes. It seems like it was always play 2 ruckmen. It's the best way to go forward. But now it seems like just try and get one player and try and let them try and run out the game. And then you get just like a pinch hitter in the ruck. But Jev, easy win. The Bombers will be licking their wounds all off season. I don't know what they're going to do. Like,
Let's talk about the Bombers just quickly. So they finished on 44 points. So they're only 4 points outside of the 8. Percentage of 89, which is clearly the worst. It's worse than Gold Coast, Freo, Richmond. Like, it's very bad percentage. What do they need to do in the preseason to make finals next year?
Well, there's obviously the talk about Ben Mackay, so they need to bolster up their backs because Zerk Thatcher, Jev, I don't know what we're watching and what the commentators are watching, or if they're just getting given a script. 3 times they mentioned Zerk Thatcher's had a good year. To who? Zerk Thatcher gets led to the ball, gets pushed under it, pushed around, and then he just gets goals kicked on him consistently. That's his most consistent tool, Jev, getting goals kicked on him. So obviously they need to bolster up that back line. They need to get a few more games into their younger kids, and they need some more stability around contests because they're all front runners. Darcy Parish, if he goes, who knows whether they trade that out or they get another compensation pick, but they just need a little bit more buy-in, I think, Jev. Like Sam Wiedemann, I think we can put the Q in the rack on that one. He has been underwhelming. He was underwhelming at Melbourne and couldn't hit the scoreboard could barely get on the park this year. He's such a good size and he's just been a letdown for them. So I think they just need to bolster up a few of those key positions, and then I think they will definitely be able to make a push because Brad Scott seems like a good coach. Like he knows what he's doing. They're very smart. So as I said, a little bit more buy-in, and that could help them in the off season.
Would you let Parish go?
I think so.
You would let him walk to Geelong on a 5-year deal and just change who the best midfield in the team is, sort of thing. Like when the Giants did it with Dill Shields, sort of thing. Like he was basically there, but he was there like Brownlow medalist, good midfielder. They let him go. They just kept building midfielders. Didn't hurt him.
Well, Ben Hobbs was a very highly touted pick from Vic Country. He's a captain of Vic Country, and when he gets to play more midfield minutes, he's good. He's really good too.
Yeah, Jai Caldwell. Like they've got good players. Elijah, you got to bring Elijah Sardis on. Give him that number 2 midfield spot behind Merritt. Oh, yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. He's a good player, Parish, but I don't know if he's ever going to be Bontempelli level good or Pat Cripps level good.
You're a Zerk Thatcher. You get rid of Parish, you don't pay him. Yes, you may pay Mackay, but then you still might have a little bit of change to throw a bit of dosh at someone else. So
yeah, 100%.
I definitely think that's the play, but that is the end of the season. They're off to Bali, so they'll be at Mississippi this weekend, and the Pies will bolster into verse the Melbourne Demons in a first final, I think, which will be on the Thursday, which I absolutely cannot wait for.
Let's get into the next game. An absolute dead rubber. They might as well not played it because I didn't see it, so they could have just not played it and just told me the score. Freo win at the MCG by 37 points. Did you see any of this game, Dars?
Nah, barely saw any. Brayshaw and Sarong, though, Jev. Death taxes 30 touches.
It's unbelievable.
They're actually a wagon at the MCG, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They only get to play like 1 or 2 games there a year, but it seems that they really get over the line. By the looks of things, Jev, same thing. You look at the stat sheet and the Hawks absolutely stuff it. Apart from Brayshaw and Sarong that are 1 and 2, the next 10 go to the Hawks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the next 9. And I bet you can probably pick those names, Jev. I'll read them out, but it's Day, Moore, Hardwick, Sicily, Impey, Carl Amon, Nash, Newcomb, and Warple. So those guys are the nucleus of that side, that midfield. They love getting their hands on it. Jarman Impey's definitely come along this year as being one of those more veteran heads. I thought he was done, but he's had a really good second half of the year. But same thing, underwhelming season for the Fremantle Dockers. Unsure what they're going to do. They don't have a first-round pick. That is going off to Melbourne. But, yeah, I'm sure they'll come back bigger and stronger. Jai Miss, those sort of guys get another year on.
Who did the ice block go to for McGuinness? Because Sarong and Brayshaw are both at 30. He's only at 7.
I was listening on the radio on the way back from work, the first bit, and they're like, Finn actually hasn't gone to anyone. He's just sort of roaming. So, I don't know.
I would have tried to stop Brayshaw and Sarong. Good win by Freo. They're going to bounce back in the off-season. They're going to big off-season. There wasn't really anything in this market that's going to blow us out of the water, like no big goal scorers or anything. So no odds for that game. Bit of a stinker. Next game, the Harley Reid Cup. All North Melbourne had to do was lose their 21st game in a row, and they get Harley Reid. And they go out and beat the Suns by 35 fucking points. Big Suvalaki, your man Nick Larkey, 9 goals, 3 and 21 touches, was on absolute fire. Das.
Tell you what, Nick Larkey said, fuck them picks. I want to win a goddamn football game. That's what he said. He said, I want to sing that goddamn song. I want to show everyone that I'm him and that I deserve an All-Australian jacket. Because I'll tell you what, Jev, you can lock in your All-Australian forward line. Hear me out. You've got Kerno, you've got Tex, you've got Larkey, you've got Petrarca, you've got Dustin Martin.
And Toby Green.
And you've got Toby Green, Jev. 100%. That is your forward 6. I think we can all agree on that now, that he's our last forward, and that is the forward line going forward. Jev, he was just competing. I'm like, can't wait for this to finally start to go the other way. They gave away a couple of 50s, and Larkey just kept launching at the footy. And every time he kicked the goals, double dukes up. I'm like, fuck, they're actually going to try and run away with this. And they fucking did. Jai Simpkin, Aiden Core even pushed up the ground, kicked the goal. I can't believe it. I don't know where this playbook's been, but hey, good on him. And same thing. The Suns have just shut the bed.
I heard. Did you hear him say on the Sunday Footy Show today? Like, no one goes hard on the Suns. It's just expected. Just another season of missing finals. They've never played in a final. GWS have come in after them, played in a grand final, rebuilt, and now they're playing for another
And they went
final
to like
series.
3 prelims.
Three prelims, and Gold Coast have never made the 8. It's embarrassing.
It is.
They're like they've
They
got
was.
Dimmer. They were probably cooked. They've got Dimmer. They probably thought North were going to tank, and they got the easy win. But it's. I hope Dimmer changes that club because they've got a lot of work to do.
I don't get it. It's like the midfield. I was watching the whole game. Like it was like they were running hard. Like Real had 33 disposals, Flanders 29, Took 29 and a goal, Anderson 29, and Brandon Ellis 28. Like
Yeah,
that's their midfield going to work. And it was so many like turnovers and just, when you're just a step behind the whole game.
yeah.
Yeah, it looked like one of them, and they were they just couldn't get it going. And North were running on top of the water, but yep, they're off for pick one. Apparently, they might be able to still trade pick two, package something else up because they've got the WA boy, so West Coast might want to take that. So there's still potential that Harley Reid does go to North Melbourne. So look, I'm sure that they assessed all the situations before coming into the game. And whether they are still going to trade up to go get Harley Reid, they must be pretty confident that what the package they're going to send over is already pretty much locked in. So
So
they didn't seem too concerned by it.
Sportsbet must have had a bit of an inkling like he was going to kick a big bag. He only paid 11-1 for 6. I thought that was going to be like 41-1. Wish you could see what he paid for 7, 8, or 9. He
Yeah.
just went off the chain. And then Eddie Forty kicked 3, and that was his first win in senior footy. He was 0-20, Eddie Ford. So he paid 9-1 for 3. And Bailey Scott had 30. He was 3-1. They're really the only odds we need to know about that game. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting. Next game was this. Oh, this was actually a good game. We were sort of busy doing our NFL prediction pod, but Lions Saints at the Gabba. The Saints gave them everything. Gave them a dead set crack. Lions too good in the end. Too good on the Gabba. They went undefeated at the Gabba this year. Yeah, Das.
The teams 5 to 8 are all a bit awkward, aren't they? Like they've all got their flaws, but on their best days, they can definitely pinch a win. Like I know we've been harsh on the Saints, Jev, but like they showed they can push. Like they could pinch a game. Like obviously they're versing each other in the first lot of finals, but you don't really probably want to come up against the Saints, but no one wants to come up against the Swans.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs can come out and all firing, and same as the Blues. So they're all really awkward, or you think that they all might be able to shit the bed. But Tim Embry finally coming back in the side just gives them another key up forward. He kicked the 3 goals, but
It's 7.25 for 3, I'm seeing here.
that's good. It was good to see. He's a bit reckless at times, Jev, but I feel he has to be coming to finals, and that's Cam Rayner. Only the 14 dispel. He just pushes players behind the ball a little
Yeah.
bit. I feel he's starting to throw his weight around a little bit more. And he's one of those guys. If they make a grand final, he could be Norm Smith.
Yeah.
Like he could kick a couple of goals, maybe put him to halfback if he has to, like late in a quarter. He might take a couple of intercept marks, can hit the scoreboard, but he's an absolute tank. And I just really feel he's gearing up for a massive final series. And Joe Danaher missed one of the easiest goals of all time. Just plug that one through, mate.
Is Rowan Marshall just stolen the All-Australian ruck spot? His
I
last 6 weeks has been out of this world.
I think he has. He's an absolute monster.
He
Like,
is
he actually doesn't get enough credit.
He was the
Watch a lot of
highest
Saints
AFL
players.
rated player on the ground. He's had 24 touches. He usually kicks a goal a week. He's basically kicked a goal his last 6 weeks. 24 touches from a ruckman, 27 hit-outs. He's a good player.
He's a fucking superstar.
And he's only going to get better because he's he's only 22, 23. He's going to be a bloody good ruckman.
You remember he was on the Sunday Footy Show? He was just talking.
He swore. He's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, mate, it's one of the best videos. If we can find it, it is so good. Bill Brownless has to cover his ass. But Saints coming into finals, Jev. If the Blues win, you have them. And this brings up Jevy versus the people. There are a lot of Saints fans that want to see you at a game in Melbourne. Swans taking on those nuffies, every single one of them there. If you lose, you got to paint your face or something. You got to do something.
I'll be there. Maybe I'll just be there to cop it all. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have a think about it. We'll have a think over the next 2 weeks if it's Swans and Kilda. at Marvel. Well, I texted the Saints supporter. He reckons it might be at the MCG, which I would prefer the Swans to play at the MCG. So can't wait, Derb. I cannot wait. Next game, Cats Dogs. Dogs get it done by 25 points. The Cats are cooked. It was 2 points there in the fourth quarter, and then the Dogs kicked the last 4 goals to run away with the game. I saw a bit of this game, Das. All I know is Isaac Smith played his final game and he kicked 1 goal, 1 and 36 touches. He'd have to think he still got it.
100%. You could see him just going down to the local team in Geelong and just sitting on the far side of the ground and just absolutely racking up disposals. Aaron Norton, Jeff, he needed to have a big game. Rory Lobb had to have a big game. Bontempelli had to have a big one. And in the midfield, Treloar and English needed to keep playing well. All of them hit the scoreboard and in a big way. So I wasn't sure if they were going to get it done down at the Cattery. Obviously, then once the Cats said that they pretty much pulled every single player on the game, then you knew that they were in for probably like an 85% chance to win the game that they were. Libba, just plug him straight back in, Jeb. Put him in the furnace, 32 disposals and a goal. He's in my top 5 players almost of all time. I fucking love him.
To watch, just the way he goes about footy.
He doesn't give a fuck. And like, these are the players, like, if players will push him around and he just pushes them back and he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't dwell on it for too much. He'll fly the flag for his teammates. He just plays footy how it's meant to be played. He's not a dog. He just plays hard.
Treloar, 2 goals, 33 touches. Libba, 1 goal, 32 touches. And Bont, 31 touches. How many Brownlow votes for Bont, would you say? 1 or 2?
Maybe 1. Like, Treloar was fucking good. I don't know. I've just got this sickening feeling that Petrarca's won it.
I don't know. Just because you bet on him, I don't think he has. I think he's a couple behind.
I think the start of the year he'll pinch a few.
Yeah.
We're not sure. You watch him today, his touches mean gold. I know we're not into that game yet, but Bontempelli, if they've cost him a Brownlow from those games, oh my God, it's going to be...
I don't want to give we don't want to burn the Sharks. Sharks are going to come on. But I have a feeling that loss to West Coast last week is going to cost Bontempelli a Brownlow.
I'd love to see a tie.
Yeah, it could be a tie, but I have a feeling, the loss to West Coast.
How do you feel about a tie Brownlow? Would you rather like a standalone? No, a standalone. Like, I like the duel.
I'd love it if they both got up there Brownlow night, did a speech each.
Yeah, I think they both deserve it. Like, Nick's season was fucked.
Yeah, 100%. If he holds on to it, it'll be bloody impressive.
So the Cats potentially, Jev, will bolster up with Darcy Parish.
I reckon they'll go hard at Sean Darcy as well, I reckon. Freo Ruckman.
You reckon? You don't reckon the Freo will keep him?
Nah, I reckon they'll hand it to Luke Jackson and they'll go hard at Sean Darcy.
Do you reckon they go hard at... who's GWS's backup Ruckman? We can't get back in. So Briggs took his spot.
Oh, I can't remember. Is
it Spruce?
Oh, yeah. He's a nut job, though. He's been like 8 different clubs.
One of them's sitting in the twos, just ready to go.
Next one. Thank God the Eagles season's done. Australia's team, the Adelaide Crows, win by 45 points. But it was all about the Texan. He's kicked 9 goals for Dobe, 21 touches. Like, he had an absolute blinder. Those 4 points have killed him because he was a goal ahead of the goal and it was bloody exciting. We'll get to that later. But I didn't see any of this game, to be honest. I watched the Tex highlights and all these goals this morning, and it was the Tex show. And he gave Jeremy McGovern an absolute bar. But
you got to take that with a grain of salt, Jeff. They're in at 3/4 time. McGovern's taken him so long to finally get back onto the field. Shannon Hearn's last game of football, they're not putting their body behind the ball. They're not stopping him. Just let him kick the goals. You watched a few of them. But, mate, McGovern, that's what I mean. They're roasting McGovern this morning on the Sunday Footy Show. Do you think McGovern cares what Kane says about him?
Kane said it was the worst game of
his career.
Key defensive football he's seen all year. I'm like, has Kane not seen a Zerk Thatcher game? Or a Brett Razzo or Rhett Bazzo, whatever the fuck his name is, game? Wow. Or anything Charlie's done there. He goes, yeah, he was trailing a bit, but their season was done. McGovern's not getting injured going into an off-season. Like, it was all about Tex last night. He had to hit the front of the Brownlow.
And how, Luke, because I did watch most of the game, Luke Shuey, Jev, he looked good.
Yeah,
he just didn't look injured. Unless if
Yeah.
he was sore as and he's just like, fuck, I'm just gonna hammer this. But
So
he looked
the Crows have finished on 44 points, 4 points outside the 8. So this poster, that goal review's killed them. They have a better percentage than the Dogs, the Swans, the Saints, and the Blues, and they're fucking 10th. Like,
mm,
and GWS, they've got a better percentage than they've had a hell of a season.
wow. That's heartbreaking. So where should they be?
They should be. Well, it depends if you take the 4 points off the Swans, but they'd be sitting 7th right now.
So you guys aren't playing finals? Oh no, you are.
No, we
No,
are, unless it'd be GWS would take our spot if they won this game. We'd finish
wow.
8th. Poor Crows, man. All those close finishes. Oh,
Those
it
ones
would
against
be
the
feeling
Pies.
sick.
Hey, no, that I think as you said, we've said before, it's like one of those things. It just adds to the journey. Another hiccup in the road. And then you learn a little bit more. Like they'll look back at all those losses now. I feel sometimes if you scrape in, you might overlook them. But now it's like, fuck, where did we lose these close
Yeah,
matches? Like, where can we really strengthen up? So, yeah, you can't take everything. Same as the Blues this year. I feel we've really improved on some of those hard losses this year where we've actually gone a bit more situational and put our head.
I feel like the
Um,
Crows. Like it's going to sting, but you think from the side that plays in the grand final this year to the Adelaide Crows, Crows get 5 more weeks of training as a team. That's
yeah,
5 weeks of situational football that they'll just work on together, work on, and they will win all those close games next year, and they'll be a bloody good side. I
for
think they'll
sure.
definitely make the 8. They have to make the 8 next year. They've been way too good. Like someone has
Yeah.
to go out, and it's hard to say, but yeah, they will make it.
Well, there was a stat being with all the close games. If they had won those close games, yeah,
Yeah,
so you give them the 4 points, and then you take off the 4 points off the team that they were playing.
yeah,
They were like a game on top,
it's unbelievable.
like a game on top of the ladder. They're like Adelaide are a fucking good team.
Fuck's sake,
Crazy.
they should feel sick.
Yeah, 100%.
Like especially the way they play and the way they're coached, they can beat any team on their day. Like they could have gone to the G and knocked off Collingwood in a final.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they smashed Carlton. They could have been any team inside the 8. They've been Port Adelaide twice. They've been Brisbane. They lost to Melbourne by 2 points. Collingwood twice by 2 points. Smashed the Blues. Should have beaten the Swans. They were robbed against Swans. They beat the Saints and they beat the Dogs.
mate. It's one of the most underrated. That's why we've been doing the points this year. They're on top of my ladder by so much. Like they're a fucking good football team.
Fuck no.
Love it.
Next game. Where are we? Oh yeah, first game today, Port Adelaide get the job done over the Tigers by 31 points. This was always going to happen, but it's good. Rosie and Butters have hit their form at the right time of the year. Rosie 1 goal, 33. Butters 30 touches, but Dustin Martin Das 1 goal, 33 touches has just locked himself into an All Australian spot. Surely,
He's 100% the All Australian, either half forward or forward. You probably go half forward because then you got Petrarca on the other side,
yeah,
and then you go Larkey and Toby Green a little bit deeper. He's a freak.
yeah,
He's a freak, and it's almost been like he's won the flags now that everyone's just sort of like, all right, that's him. Like he's done. He can almost retire, but he's been so consistent this year. I didn't get a lick of this game. I was meant to put on a multi for the Discord. I thought it started like 1:40.
yeah.
It started like 12:20 Adelaide time. What the fuck's going
You were
on?
eating breakfast and it started. It was early.
Couldn't believe it. I went to check the stats, like just look at some numbers, and I'm like, fuck, it's already started. So, hey, Port Adelaide finally getting back on the winnings like the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm really excited. The top 4 matchups are going to be awesome.
Port Adelaide have hit the finals nicely. I reckon
Yeah,
they've set themselves up nicely to go to the Gabba and have a crack. No, I
they've
can't
warmed
wait
up.
to watch Zach Butters play a final.
Yeah, it's going to be
I know he's
awesome.
already played finals, but as like this guy that's one of the top 10 best players in the comp, him and Rosie, I can't wait to see what they do in September. But they can't go out straight sets, can they? Because
No,
it could be the Swans over Adelaide Oval. We're 2-0 on Adelaide Oval this year. I would love to go there.
I feel one team will go out straight sets, and one of the top bottom, like from 5 to 8, will win and then make a prelim.
Yeah, it's going to be
One
crazy.
team,
It's
one
going
team
to
will
be
go
fucking
straight sets,
exciting.
and because one of those bottom 4 teams, they're sneaky. Someone will just get on a little bit of a heater. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure
agree.
who, but it's good for the fans.
I didn't take any screenshots of this game, unfortunately, so I can't give you any stats. Next game, Melbourne Swans, an absolute professional win by the D's to win by 21 points. I watched this game, Swan supporter, thought we were a better side for 2.5 quarters, basically 3 quarters. And in the third quarter, we were absolutely dominating them. It was a Christian Petrarca goal against the grain. And from there, it was just all Melbourne. Fritsch got on the end and finished off some nice work. It was just shows a team ready to win a premiership how good they were, because the Swans were bloody good and they just held us off and then won the game. And yeah, it was bloody impressive.
It just felt like a genuine final, didn't it?
Yeah.
From the start, it was a bit of a shootout. Good players getting their hands on the footy. Really even contests like in the middle. But God, I was saying before, if Petrarca kicked those other couple of goals, it's like he's just ready to explode at any time. And isn't Clary working his way back into it nicely? Like this is a perfect time for him. He hasn't needed to overly dominate the footy. It's almost just been like he's had a bit of a license. I mean, I guess he always does, but he can just get moving and just try and run through as much as he can. But how much of a difference does it make with Bailey Fritsch back in the side?
Yeah, 100%.
Kicking 7 goals in a grand final and then coming through and absolutely putting the foot down in the last quarter. The Blues just kicked one here, Georgie Hewitt. Come on, you fucking boys. No, it was awesome. But just it's the same people that just keep getting their hands on the footy. Oh my God, I didn't notice that Errol Goulden had 42.
Yeah, 42 and a goal, then 2 goals. He was
I did not know he had
unbelievable.
4. Because I tried not to watch this with being on my phone too much. I just wanted to watch it. Wow.
So
But like
he
you
paid
got him
23 to 1 for 40, and for 2 he was $4.30. There's
tell you
basically
what, Jeff,
100 to 1 for Errol's game. He was unbelievable. I was like, I don't know how to sort of say this take properly, but if you let him run around a footy over on his own, not manned up, he's as damaging as any player in the comp. That's including Nick
sure.
Dacos. But
For
Nick
sure.
Dacos doesn't, well, he did run around on his own at the start of the year and was the best player in the comp. But I just watched Errol Gordon run around today, and he gets every second kick. He kicks goals. He's damaging. He's as fit as a fiddle.
It is a fiddle.
42 and 2. So if Petrarca gets 3 Brownlow votes here for a 1-goal, 29 touch game, he will be right up there within 1 vote of Bont Dacos. He'll be about 28, 29, 30 range. But you've had Errol up 2 and 42, and you've had Fritsch kick 5. So it's going to be an interesting count.
It's just, if someone, same thing, like someone's going to pinch a couple of votes at the start of the year or not get them, and that's really going to dictate the rest of the Brownlow. So that's why it's so good that we got the Shark. We will be going live on Brownlow night with all of the stats. So if we know we can try and get in early, Jev, and be like, oh, fuck, this player didn't get a vote here. Let's make sure we get on top of this person. But Jeff, that was an unbelievable game today. I think once they started to get on top Melbourne at the end, you guys were almost just like, all right, fuck, that's it.
I think Jakey Meldrum's done his knee. One thing, I sort of learned today the Swans can't win the flag. And I was just trying to think why. Like, I'm like, what? We haven't kicked goals in the last 2 fourth quarters when it's been game on. And I just reckon, like, you know, we watched Buddy do his lap of honour and say goodbye today. But last year, you think our forward line was all Australian Heaney, Buddy, and Papley, always staying deep. So when games were close and we were defending, we could break the trend and go kick a goal at the other end with those 3 absolute guns down there. No Papley today. Heaney played really well. He just didn't kick his goals today. And then no more Buddy. And it's just like, okay, there's where we're not going to win the flag. We don't have the firepower anymore. Like you look at Adelaide when they get in that role and it's Tex, it's Rankin, it's Rochelle, it's all these high quality draft picks and they kick goals quickly. I just don't know if McLean and Amadi are those guys just yet to, kick 3 in a minute. Logan McDonald kick, 2 goals in a minute sort of thing. So I can see us winning a final, but there's no way we're winning the flag outside the 8. We can't kick enough goals at the moment.
But that's what we said. Your biggest thing was what does the Swans down is your inability to kick straight. You had 7-14 today.
Yeah.
Your last 5-6 wins, you guys have been really straight, which, as we said, scoreboard pressure is one of the biggest things you need. and you need to convert, especially early, just to apply some sort of pressure and just give your team a little bit of relief. And then if you don't, as I said, you're just playing catch up, and it's so much effort to try and get it in there, trying to hold inside your forward 50, but converting is so important. But as we said, I'm praying for a Saints. Oh, Paddy Dow, go. Praying for a Saints and Swans final. I think it's going to be awesome. Geez, the umpires are giving Charlie the world.
All right, that's it. We'll get back. We'll come back onto this pod at the end of this game. It's currently 59-59, scores level in the third quarter. So we are back. Carlton GWS has just finished with GWS running away with it. Too good. They were bloody good. They had a lot to play for, so they were hungry. Carlton have done all their work, so they sort of let them win. But I'm that happy GWS are in the finals over the Dogs. As much as you think Bontempelli should be in the finals, and he really should be, fuck them. They weren't good enough this year, Das.
100%. They cost their own fate. They lost to West Coast. They had a couple of really bad losses throughout the year, and a lot of teams came back on them. So they had 3 or 4 goal leads, and they were the swing masters this year, Jev. So, look, you can say they didn't deserve it, but look, the game was very much an arm wrestle for, especially the first half. The Blues just did look a little bit off, Jev. After they got Kerno the Coleman, that was a big tick. So Matt Cottrell kicked the first goal, Jev, paying 31-1. And then, look, you had a lot of guys coming back in that hadn't played in a while. So you had Chera that's been out, Walsh that's been in, been out, that came back in the side. Still missing Cripps, Doherty. I think when they come in, it's definitely going to make it a lot better. But, yeah, interesting. I think it might almost make it a little bit easier for Vossi come selection time. Like, David Cunningham didn't have his best game. Fisher, I don't know if he plays. He gave away some, just some turnovers, some free kicks. So, look, it's going to be really interesting. And the interesting one, I think it's like Harry almost gets a pass, but he's had a couple of games now to get right, and he was battered tonight. So,
It was no good.
another non-real good performance. So, I think he'd be shitting himself a little bit. But as I said, we verse you guys,
It's
don't we?
unbelievable.
Like a Friday night. So, the 100K
Friday night at the G, it's going to be. We've got a big announcement about that. We'll hold it a little close to our chest till probably next week. But can we just talk about the start of this game for a sec? This game started. It felt like there was 70,000 at Marvel Stadium. It was packed to the brim. It shows how much the Carlton fans appreciate winning, and when you're winning, how much they appreciate the team, and then how much they fucking love Charlie. Like how much the Richmond fans love Dusty when he was on fire and they were in premierships. This is what they see in Charlie. And considering you've won the last 2 Coleman medals but haven't made finals, now you've made finals, and he had to kick 2 to win the Coleman and make finals. That first quarter was fucking electric. And you watch by the end of the fourth quarter, there was no one there. There was only about 10,000 there with 10 minutes to go. But they just came out to see him win the Coleman. It was bloody good to watch.
We had 5 on the bench, 6 on the bench for the final minute.
Yeah.
So we pulled Kemp, Wiedering, Akers was already off, and Walsh was there as well. So they just absolutely parked the bus, Jev. And there was one of the most lackluster last quarters. The fans were already gone. I was actually going to go. But as we said, if he was winning in, we'd go. But I'm actually glad we could watch.
You're not trying to get over in Southern Cross now.
Nah.
You're already home. So, good win by Jones. Fuck, I'm happy for him. Fuck, Toby Green was good. They all were. You're probably happy you're not playing GWS first final now. Just a bit of psychological edge. They've just played a bloody good game against you. I know you're a bit checked out, but Carlton Swans, GWS Saints, watching that last quarter, the live ladder move up and down was great to watch. And for a while, they were playing a home final there, the Giants. Carlton kicked a couple late. So all 4 games are going to be at the MCG first final with us. Oh, except the one at the Gabba, sorry.
No, I reckon Saints GWS will probably be at Marvel.
You reckon? Because I texted our Saints mate, and he said the Swans game would have been at the G, so that'll be interesting. But did you listen to
Swans are bigger though?
Did you listen to Toby Green's interview after the game?
No, I must have missed it.
Oh fuck, it was cool. Sarah Jones.
Sarah Jones said something. He seemed pissed off. He's like, I didn't.
No, Sarah Jones messaged him and said, he goes, "Oh, what ended up happening? Saints here or Saints in Sydney?" And Sarah's like, "Oh, it's going to be Saints here." He's like, that's footy. We'll play anyone, anywhere. We don't care. And you're like, fucking oath, you're a stud. So Tom Green's had 35, Whitfield 32, Canelio 2 goals, 2 and 28, and he's 200th. Toby Green's kicked 4 and had 19. Blokes had some big days for the Giants to get them done. I'm fucking happy for them. They deserve to play finals.
Tom Green, Jev, super consistent. So for his 35 disposal, that would get you 280, which is still absolutely fuck all. So
Yeah.
Lockie Whitfield had 32, as you mentioned. That paid 875. Oh, sorry, that's 30. What didn't go? So that's 35. Lockie Whitfield, sorry, was 330 for 32 touches. Cornelio was just under, so he could have easily definitely got to that 30 mark, but he was at 28. Jev, he's a master at Marvel, isn't he? I
He's
know
the
you
Mr. Marvel Stadium. He
Mr.
loves
Marvel.
it.
So $1.54 for 25 plus touches. Him for his 2 goals because he fucking usually kicks the first one. Where is he? Sorry, he's just down the list. So $11 for 2 snags, which is extremely juicy. Toby Green for 4 goals, Jev was 330, and Charlie Curnow for 3 goals, $1.35. So they're pretty much your bigger markets in that. Actually, what did Riccardi pay for 3? He paid 575, so he's finally hit a little bit of a purple patch. Jeff, going forward, it's all about role players, isn't it? So you got Bedford and you got Binger. So they're both playing really well together.
Oh, Toby Bedford was unbelievable. Jared Healy had a boner watching Toby Bedford.
Honestly, this year I think he's the number one inside forward 50 pressure player over the last since like round 8. So the most amount of tackles inside forward 50. Love watching him play. As being a little bit of a small player myself, when you do watch, you do have your favorite players. So I love the way they go about it. But Jeb, it's about if you can just do your role.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be super shiny. You know who's going to be a big part? Matt Owies. Jeb, he does his job. You know what he's? He's the equivalent, but nowhere near as much, of course. But Julian Edelman, Jev, he's just a little slot receiver. He'll just go in. Whenever you call a dial up a play, you need him to convert. He does it. That's what Matt always does for the Blues. He dead set will go back. He was our number one option there for most of that game. Obviously, Charlie parked the bus a little bit, but
Yeah.
he wants the footy and he wants to kick
He
goals.
loves the shot. What do you call him? The little.
A little selfish prick.
He doesn't pass. He turns his back, goes back.
You'll mark it, or like you do the one where you pretend to give it off. You pretend like no, there was someone there. So, mate, unbelievable. As I said, we've still got a home final. It's going to be us versus you guys, which
First
is
guy in 10 years. Friday night, probably. It's fucking exciting.
if we lose this.
What I love about, I'll tell you what I love about Toby Bedford and Brent Daniels as role players, like they're forwards and they're role players. I prefer those two so much more than, I'm just going to use Carlton as example. So you've got like Chera, Hewitt, Doherty, Cripps, everyone to come back. And then when you put a midfielder on a half forward flank and you sort of take one of those forward role players positions. Yeah. So like,
I get you.
Like Cottrell might get dropped for the Blues because you've got to fit in Doherty or Walsh or whatever. But it's like his role is so important to you guys winning. Like it might not be him, but there's just some guys you'd love having them in your 22, but they're sort of the 22nd best player. So it's like Richmond won premierships off the back of Kane Lambert, Jason Castagna, Jack Higgins, Dan Butler. Like they were just little forwards that just put so much pressure on.
Yeah, you just need, and especially when they're rolling, like they've got so much.
Confidence is up.
Yeah, like Binger Daniels obviously had a bad run with injuries. Bedford, I can't believe that he was at Melbourne. Like that was such a good fucking pick up from the Giants. And obviously you can tell that like the talent scouts and stuff, like they can tell if there's a gun out there and they can get their hands on him. And he's absolutely shining at the Giants. So, Jev, that is the end of the season. That is home and away. So we don't get to see the doggies anymore. Bont will be filthy. He's probably lost another Brownlow. I think my cash out for that bet for the Kerno and Petrarca would have been about $2,000.
Yeah.
I really do. Paid 3-3. That's fine. Hey, made $1,000 off the season, so we'll take that. And we'll head into finals. So we've got a week off after this, Jeff, and we're going to really gear up for a big finals. You wanted to touch on a couple of winners.
Yeah, we just quickly got a DM from this two blokes, one called Andres Perry on Instagram. He's had 50 bonus bet on a 22-1 multi today and $14 on an $85 one today. And he's won 1,081 on the $50 bonus bet and 1,191 today. So he's won $2,200 on two different multis, two different over 20 leg multis. He's had all green ticks. And then this bloke didn't want his name said. His first name is Ryder. I won't say his last name. But he puts on a multi every week of like all the games, but like, guys like Zach Merritt for 20 instead of 25, like safe legs all game, and it's taken him all 24 rounds, but he's finally hit one, and he's turned a $14 bonus bet into $1,200. So he's absolutely wrapped. Now
Yes.
we will give you our bad beat, Das. We had a Discord Punters Club this weekend. Can you tell us about today's bad beat?
So, Jeff, we've had some goal kickers that has let us down the last couple of weeks. We had one on the other night as well. So, yesterday, big game coming all the way through, and we lose out by a leg, but that's fine. You know what? We'll cop that. Then we get into tonight's games. So, today's afternoon games. So we have Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton, GWS. I'm going to work backwards on this one, Jeff. So let's go the Carlton GWS legs because they're absolute heaters. Kelly 20, Whitfield 20, Cogs 20, Hewitt 20 that he got there in the last 2 minutes, Chera 20, Nick Newman 20, Walsh 20, Toby Green 2, Charlie Curnow 2. That multi paid $3.92, but in a combination. So all those are ticks, Jeff. They're 9 legs. Then we go Swans and Melbourne. Petrarca 20, Oliver 20, Luke Parker 20, Jake Lloyd 20, Warner 20, Errol Goulden 20. All ticks, yeah?
Yeah.
And we have Isaac Heaney for a snag.
Isaac Heaney for a snag. He kicked 3 points. He had a set shot with about 2 minutes to go, 10 metres out directly in front, hit the side of his boot. That was a horrible miss. So what did we have on that in the Punters Club, Das?
So we had $170 on that to get back $2,259.
And he's 100K zone, Isaac Heaney. He gave us a DM after the Smash or Dash video. He found it very funny. He follows us, and he's cost us $2,500, old Isaac. And Isaac Rankin cost us the other $2,500. The Isaacs. Oh well, that's a part of gambling. We don't blame them. It's a hard game out there.
Not their fault. And then we had another one. Where was that one the other night that we lost? Oh yes, this is a bad beat, Jev. So I had 100 on this multi. This is unbelievable. We lost by 1 leg. So we had Newcomb 20, Warple 20, Hayden Young 20, Flanders 20, Anderson 20, Took 20, Charlie Cameron 2, Brisbane head to head. Our only losing leg was Gold Coast head to head.
That's a bad loss. Oh God. So we've had 3 total losing legs for the weekend in the Discord. Isaac Rankin, Isaac Heaney, and Gold Coast head to head. And we haven't won $1.
Not at all.
That's
But hey, the Discord Punters Club will be taking a breather this week.
yeah, reset.
But if you want to get involved, obviously the Discord to get in, it's $2 a week. But the Punters Club, we all put in $15. Everyone has a say, so it's a bit of fun. So at the end of the week, it's not like we're betting absolutely ridiculous amount of money. It is just a Punters Club. We all get a say. Look, Jev, I'm down $15 for the week, and I'll tell you what, I've had an absolute blast doing it. I've really enjoyed the games. It just adds that little bit of value for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're having a week off, Darcy. We've done 24 straight Sunday roast. We've missed a couple here and there, but it's been a long 24. So we're having a week off. We absolutely love doing it, and we can't wait to come back for the finals. Only 4 games to touch on. Good analysis, good odds, a lot of screenshots. We cannot wait for the finals.
It's going to be huge. And, Jev, we will be there in 2 weeks' time on a Friday night.
We will be.
I'm so... it's the one team.
You don't want to be sent home by the Swans, do you?
Nah.
I
feel you, if you lose to the Blues, you'll just be like, fuck, whatever.
I can cop it. I can cop losing. You know, we haven't had a great year. I don't think we're going to win the premiership. So if you guys won, it's sort of like you won a first final in 10 years. You're actually a chance to make a prelim, win the flag. But if you lose to us, it's going to sting. It's going to fucking sting. Oh, boy. You got to be nervous. We get a bit of a free hit at it, but we'll be coming to win. We're well coached. We're a good side.
You guys, as we said before in our group chat, if there's any Adelaide Crows fans, so the Swans obviously got the luck of the draw with that, and then also the North Melbourne interchange.
Yeah.
If they lose, obviously there's a lot of things that can happen from the start to end of the season, but those two just seem so critical, and Crows fans will be absolutely livid. If you're them, you'd just be fucking getting off your tits right now.
You'd be furious.
I reckon all the Bulldogs players were sitting together tonight watching with slabs on standby.
Do you reckon they're apologising to Marcus Bontempelli right now for costing him another Brownlow?
Yeah, I would be.
Could you see Bontempelli doing like a Chris Judd and getting up and walking out and going to the biggest club in Melbourne? Going to Richmond? going to Collingwood, going to Essendon, going to Carlton. Like, you can't necessarily fit in some of them, but just even going over to, like, Adelaide or a big club, or West Coast probably too shit. Going over to Free, I was saying.
Nah, he'll stay there.
He deserves better, though. They need a new coach.
They'll be fine.
Brad Scott. If Brad Scott got up and left Geelong and went to the Dogs, would they be top 2 next year? Chris Scott.
You know how I remember that?
Chris, Cats, Brad, Bombers. You've said that. Oh, we're going to get out of here. We've talked for 15 minutes about nothing. So,
yeah.
Look, Dobe, I will speak to you. We're having a bit of a week off the pod this week all together. We've got our NFL preview that we filmed last night coming out Thursday, Friday. I think it's 2-parter. It was bloody long. So, yeah, we'll have a good week off. We'll refresh. We'll and see where our head's at and crack back into it.
Let's go. Hey, let's roast.
Let's roast. See you, mate.